Oh, I literally just opened Twitter, and this is what I found. So we might as well just do this to start things off, man. This is what this show is going to be all off season. NBA news, rumors, reactions, all that stuff leading up to the draft, leading up to free agency, NBA trades, everything. And I just opened Twitter to see, let me see if there's anything else. And just 14 minutes ago, from Shams Charania, the Chicago Bulls are finalizing the hire of Portland Trailblazers interim coach Tiago Splitter as the franchise's new head coach. Splitter succeeds Billy Donovan as the Bulls coach after stepping into the head job and excelling in Portland last season. And I'm looking at this like, what are the Portland Trailblazers doing? I didn't know that. I guess they didn't technically fire him. At first, I was like, wait. I remember he took over for Portland. I don't really remember why. And then he's just available and gets hired by the Chicago Bulls. So I go to AI and I say, why was Tiago Splitter fired? He wasn't fired. He was the interim coach of the Portland Trailblazers after Chauncey Billups got caught in all the gambling stuff. And Portland just didn't hire him after his run as interim head coach. And I don't know how that's possible. Because the Portland Trailblazers were supposed to be nothing last season. And I think he did an amazing job with the Portland Trailblazers. They actually put up a fight in that first round of the NBA playoffs. Let me try to remember, man. Every round just runs together. There was a play-in game, right? They won a play-in game, right? They won a play-in game, and damn, what's his name had that 43-point game. Anyway, I think Tiago Splitter did an amazing job with the Portland Trailblazers. Front office that keeps doing really dumb stuff. But I guess if you look at it like the Chicago Bulls started the season 5-0 last season. Remember when the Chicago Bulls started 5-0? And everybody's talking about, the Chicago Bulls are legit. I remember the 76ers started the season 5-0, and the Bulls started the season 5-0, or the Sixers were 4-1 or something like that. After their hot 3-0 start, and everybody thought VJ Edgecombe was the next Michael Jordan. And then the Bulls and Sixers played in the first week, and it was the battle of the undefeated teams, and none of those teams were actually any good. So I guess that's a good hire for Chicago. That's a good hire for Chicago. Better than Nick Nurse. Yeah, he killed it for the Blazers. I agree, man. What's up? Good morning, and hey, T4493. What's up, man? Thank you. Virgil, the maidenless. Everyone will make moves again except the Sixers. They're on the cuck chair waiting for 3 more years. Oh my God. Yes. I don't know why you had to use the term cuck chair, but yeah, the Sixers are absolutely screwed, man. On the show, we're going to talk about the Knicks won the NBA championship, of course, and the celebration in New York City was disturbing. And then I want to do this. I came across this when Jalen Brunson was originally signed by the New York Knicks, all the initial reactions to it. I think that'll be fun. Shut up! There's a segment on Wemby I want to do because I don't think Wemby is getting enough heat for the loss. And then we're going to talk about the Giannis trade rumors because the Giannis trade rumors are heating up, and the NBA offseason and trades can happen today. And I honestly do expect the Giannis trade to happen sooner than later. And then there's some Darren Peterson stuff that has to do with the Washington Wizards. And it's weird. It's weird. That'll be the last segment on this show, I think. But yeah, thank you for being here, man. This is Run It Back NBA. Thank you for tuning in. Do me a favor, hit the like button one time. Subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed. Yeah, listen. The NBA season is over. The New York Knicks are champions of the NBA. And now we move on to the offseason. And I don't really know how to move on to the offseason because I started this channel in February, and I started this channel just reacting to games, right? That was my idea. I was like, I'll just watch the rest of the NBA and I'll do reactions to games and bring my style from the Run It Back Philly covering the Sixers. I'll bring that to the rest of the NBA. But in my mind, it was just like, I'll just react to games. I didn't even think about the fact that once it's over, there's no games. So we must figure out together how to cover the NBA all off season with no games to react to. We'll figure it out together, man. Thank you for being here. Yeah, the New York Knicks are NBA champions. But what happened in New York City was worse than I could have imagined. And I'm not going to put it on YouTube. And I don't want this to turn into some kind of political thing. But I do think this is pretty much mainstream sports news right now. So here's how New York City celebrated the Knicks championship. 63 people were arrested. Somebody got shot. 4 people got stabbed. 10 police officers were injured. They set 5 school buses on fire. Multiple police cars were destroyed. And yeah, that's... I'm not laughing. That's not a laughing matter. And if you didn't see any of the videos or anything of the New York City celebration, it was disturbing, man. It was. It did not look like a celebration. It looked like an all-out riot. I wish I didn't see that this morning, to be totally honest with you. Like, I wish somehow we could just separate sports news from things like this, but it bummed me out a little bit when I saw it this morning. Because it didn't look like a sports celebration. It looked like a riot. And it's unfortunate, man. It really is. And it's not, I'm not going to go on this, like, I'm not going to do what I think some Philly fans would do or other team fans and be like, see, this is why New York Knicks fans are this, and this is why Knicks fans this and Knicks fans that. It wasn't even Knicks fans, bro. You hardly, if you watch those videos, you hardly even see a Knicks jersey in these videos. This was a section of New York City, of a section of complete degenerates that exist in every city, just completely rioting for no reason. This had nothing to do with sports. It's very confusing. And I wonder, I really struggle with it because I don't know what people think when a team wins a championship. Are they really sitting in their house like, yo, the Knicks won? They call their friend like, hey, yo, Chris, the Knicks won. Chris knows that this is the friend that is always on some fuck shit, you know? He's like, nah. I'm not. What are you about to say? The Knicks won. Yeah, okay. What are you about to say? Let's go light some shit on fire. You know what I mean? What makes you want to go light shit on fire? Because the Knicks won. And do people think that there's no rules because of a sports team winning? And this isn't directed at New York. Again, this is just in general. It confuses me. Rioting after a sports win just confuses the shit out of me. Do people think there's no laws because a sports team won? 63 people got arrested. If they find out who lit the school buses on fire, you have a felony arson charge. Do you know what I'm saying? This is real shit. Are people like, yo, the Knicks won? It's a purge! Purge! Knicks won! It's a purge! Do they suddenly think there's no laws? And they can just go smash cop cars and light shit on fire? And what even makes you want to light something on fire? Outside of a sports team winning and rioting, if you told me at any point in my life, hey man, there's no laws, lighting shit on fire is legal, I would be like, all right, I don't want to do that. What is it about winning a sports game that makes you want to go light a school bus on fire? I don't know, man. I don't know, and I'll never know. But anyway, that's how New York City celebrated the Knicks' victory. And those videos were disturbing, and it's unfortunate. But, you know, it's not Knicks fans. It's not New York City solely. It's any city. There's just a group of degenerates that want to fuck shit up because they feel like they can get away with it. I don't know, man. But I want to do this, man. I came across this on Twitter because, you know, there's all the conversation about is Jalen Brunson the greatest New York Knick of all time? And his dad on the postgame live, sitting with the TNT crew of Chuck and Shaq and everybody, said that Patrick Ewing is still the best New York Knick of all time. So the question is out there, is Jalen Brunson the best New York Knick of all time? This was one of the best NBA Finals performances, elimination game performances, and certain fourth quarter performances that I've ever seen in my life. Jalen Brunson is one of the clutchest basketball players I've ever watched to rise to the occasion in the biggest moment. And then when the biggest game comes around, he drops a 45 piece, and his team didn't even play well. Nobody else on the team really even shot the ball well, and he just basically did it all by himself. It was an unbelievable performance. But I came across this on Twitter. Chris B. Haynes, he first tweeted, he retweeted his own tweet from 2022. And he said the comments 4 years ago. And his tweet in 2022, right when Jalen Brunson was about to be signed by the Knicks. When free agency opens on Thursday, the New York Knicks are expected to present Jalen Brunson a 4-year, $110 million contract, league sources tell Yahoo Sports. This was in 2022. So for fun, let's just go read. $7.5 million a year? The Knicks are going to nick, but get that money, Brunson. Everybody thought this was a massive overpay. So Knicks can make an offer before. Okay, sheesh. The Dallas Mavericks fan club. The Dallas Mavericks fan club tweeted sheesh about it being an overpay. And now you, the Dallas Mavericks, go down in history as having drafted Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson in the same draft and having neither of those players on your team. 4 years later, somebody's laughing at them 11 hours ago in the replies there. Brunson better be ready for all of the spotlight. They're investing so much into him. The pressure is there. He pulled that off, man. He pulled that off. I think Brunson makes the Knicks go from very bad to bad. $110 million is a hefty salary for a non-all-star player. No knack against Brunson, but I think he's good, just not worth the money. There is somebody in these replies that got it, that nailed it, bro. What did it cost? Everything. There is somebody in these replies that nailed it. Let's see. Somebody wanted Kevin Durant instead. This guy nailed it right here. This was on June 28th, 2022. I've talked to people in his circle who think this was Chris B. Haynes on Jalen Brunson in 2022. I've talked to people in his circle who think he has another level to reach and that he just couldn't reach with Dallas because he played with the most ball-dominant player in the league. Holy hell. Jalen Brunson leaving Dallas and becoming as good as he became is literally because Luka Doncic is a ball hog. And that makes perfect sense. And I don't think there was ever a world where Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson work out together because they're both ball-dominant guards. But for the Mavs to just let him walk is crazy. This guy right here nailed it, man. Eye for impact. Some random dude on Twitter, man, highlights NBA's hidden gems by identifying players before their talent shows up on the box score. Is this guy a prophet? Or did he change his name in his account after he made this tweet? On the rumors that the Knicks were paying Jalen Brunson $110 million, he said, well-deserved and he's only getting better. Nailed it, sir. This is Jaylen Brown money. Knicks have fucking lost it. Time for everyone in the comments to say that's an overpay for every free agent signing and act surprised that a good free agent. This guy was on the money here. Not one team is scared of this. Holy hell, man. This franchise keeps getting more unserious. Knicks fans were mad about it, bro. That's great. That would be a big mistake. Brunson is a good guard, but he's not going to lead them to where they want to go. Holy hell! Some of these reactions were the exact opposite of what happened. Brunson is a good guard, but he's not going to lead them to where they want to go. $110 million should be spent on an alpha dog who will lead the team toward a championship. They will regret it. Get a cheaper version of Brunson. Wow. That is incredible. Did he not just win a championship? Good God. Yeah, this was in 2022, man. Hey, bro, as a Knicks fan, I salute your platform and righteous talk. Hey, man. Thank you. Alpha dog like Tobias Harris. Exactly. Big facts. The Knicks should have passed on Brunson. They should have done the right thing. They should have signed Tobias Harris. That's just fun to look back on. That's just fun to look back on, man. Jadidabs. If it was not for MJ, Patrick Ewing would be the best Knick of all time, no question. I don't think we take that away from Patrick Ewing after one season. I agree with Brunson's dad. Yeah, I don't think he's. I mean, I don't know enough about the Patrick Ewing era to really have an opinion on that, man. I want to talk about Victor Wembanyama before we get into the Giannis trade rumors because, you know, there's a narrative going around the elimination. This is from the Knicks recap. He said Victor Wembanyama walked off the court without any handshakes, any love for the team that just beat him. Classless. You know what Jalen Brunson did before he started celebrating? He went over to the Spurs coach, Mitch Johnson, and shook his hand. Takes notes, Wemby. This is how true leaders operate. And then Wemby said this in the postgame. I don't think I talked about this, and I don't really understand. Like, he's mad. I understand you're mad that you lost. I get that. And he's allowed to be upset that they lost. He wanted to win. Wemby wants to win more than anything. But yeah, not shaking the players' hands and then saying this in the postgame is kind of odd.
Appreciate y'all. See y'all. Never.
Why did he say that?
Appreciate y'all. See y'all. Never.
So he says, see y'all never, and slams the mic down. I think what happened with Victor Wembanyama is very interesting, man. He's 22 years old. He's 7'4". He's had a freak athletic advantage over everyone he's ever played his entire life so far. And I don't think he's ever seen adversity like this. You know? And he didn't handle it correctly, but he just needs to go learn from it. I don't think he's seen adversity like this, and I think he was a little bit confused. I don't think his mind could really wrap around the fact that he was being dominated in the NBA Finals. I also think that the praise went to his head a little bit. I do think that. Any Spurs fans in here, what do you think? I think the praise and the celebration of Victor Wembanyama this season went to his head a little bit. And he got a little bit ahead of himself. You know, and then they knock off the Oklahoma City Thunder. And Thunder fans have a valid argument in saying, we didn't have J-Dub or A.J. Mitchell. Like, legitimately, a lot of the games in that Western Conference Finals, their second best player on the floor was Jared McCain. Seriously. And yes, that is a knock to Chet Holmgren. But I think then beating the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I don't know how chronically online Wemby is, but maybe them beating the Oklahoma City Thunder and then like all the talk about the Eastern Conference, how weak the Eastern Conference is, how the East is so much weaker than the West, and constant coverage on ESPN and NBA TV and everywhere that the two best teams in the league are in the West, and the East doesn't have a chance at all, and we're going to, it doesn't matter. Whoever wins, OKC or San Antonio, are probably going to sweep whatever team comes out of the East. That's what the narrative was, the whole playoffs. And so I think all of that at such a young age kind of went to Wemby's head, and he felt like, I am definitely about to lead this team to a championship. And then adversity hits. And I don't really think he knew how to handle it. And he didn't handle it well, but he's 22. Has a 22-year-old ever led an NBA team to an NBA championship? No. Not at all. I think Dwayne Wade was one of the youngest, but he had Shaq like just out of his prime. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I think Wemby definitely needs to mature. He definitely needs to humble himself a little bit. And I do think he comes off as humble. But the more and more you listen to him talk, and the more like all of these quotes about, I don't know, just the way that he talked about everything, it was very, and I'm not saying he shouldn't be confident, but there was a little bit of who do you think you are type of stuff with being so young and not having won anything yet, So I think he needs to mature. I definitely do. But I think more importantly, Victor Wembanyama needs to gain weight, and I don't know if he can. I don't know if somebody 7'4" can gain weight. I don't know if somebody 7'4" can put on muscle. But he needs to do that. And he needs to have a go-to move, man. I think I said this in the postgame live. He was a non-factor in a lot of these games in the NBA Finals. And he was supposed to be the guy, right? He was supposed to be the alien that nobody could stop. He was a complete non-factor. The Spurs had to go De'Aaron Fox down the stretch of all of these games because you just couldn't get anything out of Wemby when it mattered the most. And he doesn't seem like he has a go-to move, man. But he's 22. That's what everybody needs to remember, If Wemby gets in the lab and really gets a post presence, if Wemby gets in the lab and really gets a post presence and really gets, some dominant post moves where he can move his defender and hit him with a turnaround jumper or an up and under or something like that, then the league is in trouble. And NBA players hit their prime at like 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Jalen Brunson, 28, 29, 30. So he has a lot of years to develop. I think it's a little bit not fair that he gets scrutinized the way that he does because he's only 22. But the fact that he's such an outlier in like NBA player standards, he gets thrown into that when mentally he's not really there yet. That's what I think. What do you guys think, man? He needs to start running and dunking like Giannis. Yeah, absolutely. But he needs that. He needs that strength that Giannis has. You know what I mean? He needs that strength that Giannis has. Gordy07 says, came off as arrogant to me. Joe Montana, it's crazy. As a Knicks fan, I respect the culture and the system they used to build players. But this wasn't the Spurs I remember. They played dirty. They were too cocky. All right. I don't want to just trash Wemby, but I will say this. If you talk ethical hoops so much, don't be the guy committing so many flagrant fouls. If you add flagrants, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Magic Johnson at 20. He did have Kareem, but he did no, he won the championship without Kareem, didn't he? I forgot about him. Magic Johnson won a championship as a rookie, filling in for injured Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at center, by the way. Magic Johnson won a championship as a rookie playing center in place of injured Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if I'm not mistaken. Giannis was skinny when he was drafted. That's true. That's true. You know what? Whatever Giannis was on, man. Whatever Giannis was on, they need to get Wemby on. If Wemby over the next couple of years puts on some muscle, he might be damn unstoppable, man. He might be unstoppable, man. Let's go to these Giannis trade rumors, man, because I think, this is about to be the biggest thing to go down to start this offseason. It's definitely going to be the biggest thing to go down to start this offseason. And this one just came out on NBA Central about the Boston Celtics receiving Giannis, but I don't think I want to read that one yet because I don't think he actually ends up in Boston. This says there's a 35% chance that Giannis ends up in Boston. I don't think he ends up in Boston, but I do think it's funny that the Boston Celtics are publicly trying to trade Jaylen Brown because I'm going to talk about that in a second. But here's the Heat's offer. Well, there's one that says, okay, here's the one that I wanted to talk about, I think. This one is from Windhorse on ESPN. He basically says that Giannis is focused on being a member of the Miami Heat. So, and Giannis does not have a no trade clause, by the way. But I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to try to do right by him to give him what he wants. And so it's seeming like Giannis Antetokounmpo prefers to go to Miami. Let's hear what I always call him Wemby because I was just talking about Wembanyama. Let's hear what Windy said on ESPN first.
Yes, the league believes that this is finally going to happen. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that he still could commit to re-signing with the Bucks, but talks have intensified over the last 7 to 10.
Wait, he's still committed to re-signing with the Bucks?
I would be remiss if I didn't point out that he still could commit to re-signing with the Bucks, but talks have intensified over the last 7 to 10 days. Look, he has focused on wanting to be a member of the Miami Heat, and because he's only got 1 year on his contract, he has some control over that. But the Heat and the Bucks have been talking for months, Greeny, and not agreed to a deal because the Bucks don't love the Heat's offer. There are third teams involved. There are 4 teams involved.
What else could the Miami Heat offer? And we're going to look at what they officially offered or what it's been rumored.
In recent days, we have seen that the Boston Celtics have shown some interest there. But a Celtics offer has a stumbling block. Number one, you'd be breaking up potentially Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown.
Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown.
Offer has a stumbling block. Number one, you'd be breaking up potentially Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown. Number two.
Hey, y'all better be roasting Windy in these comments, all right? And I'm not. But I'm just, it pisses me off a little bit, bro. Because if I get up here and misspeak and, just a human error type shit and you're thinking about so many things at the same time that you said something and you thought you said something and you said a totally different name, y'all roast the shit out of me in the comments when I do that. You're like, bro, do you even know what you're talking about? Jalen Brunson plays for the Knicks. Obviously, he meant to say Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but that's funny.
Celtics offer has a stumbling block. Number one, you'd be breaking up potentially Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown. Number two, it would mean changing the entire structure of the way the Celtics play basketball. So stay tuned. We'll be more on that as the week unfolds.
I don't know if... Oh, we'll talk about the Celtics in a second. But anyway, yeah, Giannis wants to be a member of the Miami Heat, and apparently the Milwaukee Bucks don't like the Heat's offer. Here is the Heat's offer on the table for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Tyler, I don't know what else they can offer. Unless the Bucks really think they're going to give him Bam Adebayo. Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, number 13 overall pick, and future picks. What else do the Milwaukee Bucks want? They're giving you their whole team. What else do the Milwaukee Bucks even want? See, the problem with teams is when they trade a player like this, they want to be, they want the return to be so good that they're like a good team immediately, and that doesn't make sense either. Why would a team trade their best players for Giannis? Like, the team trading for Giannis also has to make sure it makes them a better team. I don't know what else the Heat could offer, but apparently the Milwaukee Bucks do not like this offer of Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Nikola Jovic, number 13 overall, and future picks. We'll see if it ends up being like a 3 or 4 team trade. If the Bucks, if Giannis ends up in Miami, but Tyler Hero somehow ends up in Boston or something. That doesn't make sense because the Celtics would only trade Jaylen Brown if they're getting Giannis. I don't know what else the Miami Heat could actually offer. That sounds like a pretty good return to me if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, because also, don't forget, Giannis Antetokounmpo is about to be 32 years old. And last season, he was chronically injured. He could not stay healthy this past season. And this is a guy that wants a max extension. I don't understand it. I really don't understand. I know Giannis is great. And I know how much he changes your team when he's on the floor. But I think at this point, reaching the point he's at, with his age and his injuries, and the fact, don't leave this out, it's not just his age and his injuries. If Giannis Antetokounmpo had a jump shot, if this brother gets a jump shot, if Giannis Antetokounmpo had a silky smooth jump shot, you could say for certain his game is going to age gracefully, but he doesn't. His game is 100% run on sheer athleticism. And when his athleticism starts to decline, age and injuries, how good will he be really? On top of that, does this even make the Miami Heat a contender? You're giving up everybody. How bad were the Miami Heat last year without Tyler Hero? How bad were the Miami Heat with Tyler Hero? Jaime Jaquez was one of their best players. Khalil Ware was surprising as a backup center. A lot of people thought he should have been a starting center and would have been better off playing him alongside Bam Adebayo, right? I guess, look, Pat Riley is always in win now mode. So if Pat Riley has a chance to get a player like Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's going to do it. And then you just do it. You just do it. You just take the chance. I see both sides. You just take the chance, you sign Giannis to the extension, and then you try to work out the roster over the next 2 years. Or maybe completing a Giannis trade helps you then sign another big free agent. Or, I don't know, work out a damn Kawhi Leonard trade or something like that. But, like, when I think about it, really, I don't think this trade makes the Miami Heat a contender. Their roster is going to absolutely suck outside of Bam Adebayo, who can't exactly carry a team anywhere. And then you look at the Milwaukee Bucks last season with Giannis. How good did Giannis make the Milwaukee Bucks last season with a subpar roster? He didn't. They were terrible. Wow, what if Miami actually trades for Giannis? And they don't even have a good season next season. That'd be wild. That'd be wild. The other part of this is the Boston Celtics are trying to jump into the mix. And let me see, Jaylen Brown. Let me type in Jaylen Brown here. The Boston Celtics are trying to jump into the mix, and I think it's funny because they're blatantly trying to trade Jaylen Brown. Y'all remember the Jaylen Brown Twitch streams after the season, right? And he said this was his favorite season. And he basically, I don't know if he tried to say it that way, but he basically said, like, I had a lot of fun playing without Jason Tatum this year. I got to be the leader. Everybody got to see what I can do as a team leader. Like, it started to feel like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are going like this. And it started to feel like with those comments made, the Celtics are going to have to make a decision anyway on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I would have traded them a while ago because I think they're 1A players. I think they both want to be the guy. And I think you can build a good team around each of them as the number one. So I think all of those things considered, the Celtics already knew, like, we're probably in trade Jaylen Brown territory. But now, because the Giannis thing is public, the Celtics basically are just publicly trying to trade Jaylen Brown. And this trade right here, Yahoo Sports trade idea, this one came out, 45 minutes ago. Boston Celtics received Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Miami Heat received Jaylen Brown. Wait a minute. So Jaylen Brown. Okay, so this is a three-team trade here. This is a three-team trade. Boston, Miami, Milwaukee. Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning of this. If Milwaukee doesn't like the return they're getting from the Heat, in this scenario, they're getting assets from both teams. The Boston Celtics received Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Miami Heat received Jaylen Brown. The Milwaukee Bucks received Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware. I forget how to say that dude's name. Hugo Gonzalez. Boston's 2026 first-round pick, which is like 15th or 16th in the mid, right? Miami's 2026 first-round pick, which is, what was that, 13th? 2030 unprotected from Miami, 2031 unprotected from Boston. 35% chance for Giannis to be traded to Boston, and that would send Jaylen Brown to the Miami Heat. That's interesting too for the Boston Celtics, man. But that makes more sense. This makes a lot more sense roster construction-wise for the Boston Celtics than it does for Giannis going to Miami. Because Giannis and Bam on the same team playing in the paint together and just no guards on the perimeter to do anything with the basketball. If you're getting rid of Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez and everybody, I don't think that makes much sense for Miami. I think this makes much more sense for both teams, actually, now that I look at it. Because pairing Jaylen Brown and Bam Adebayo, I think, is way better than pairing Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo. I actually think this trade makes sense. And then Boston receives Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that makes more sense pairing Jason Tatum and I think everybody wins here. I think everybody wins here, guys. But I also think this is funny because the Boston Celtics are blatantly trying to trade Jaylen Brown. It's in the public now. They're like, hey, if we can, we're trading you for Giannis. So now if this doesn't happen, how fucked up is the Boston Celtics locker room if this doesn't happen? How messed up is the Boston Celtics internally if this doesn't happen? And we already heard rumors from Tracy McGrady, who's close to Jaylen Brown, that there was already kind of some turmoil internally with the Boston Celtics and how Jaylen Brown felt he wasn't treated as a number one guy and whatever else. I don't think there's any coming back from this for the Boston Celtics. If they don't pull this off and trade Jaylen Brown for Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're going to basically have to trade Jaylen Brown for somebody else because I don't think at this point Jaylen Brown goes back to Boston. I don't think the 2026 NBA season starts with Jaylen Brown in a Boston Celtics jersey. And we know we're not going to see Giannis in a Milwaukee Bucks jersey. That's interesting, man. That's interesting. What do we got? APAP, thank you for the super chat, man. Good afternoon. I think it's going to be Knicks, Cavs, conference finals, repeat again. Both of those teams are locked up. Hit the likes. I think it's going to be Knicks, Cavs, conference finals, repeat again. Nah, I'm going Pistons, man. Nah, we're going Pistons, bro. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are not taking the Cavs back to the Eastern Conference Finals next season, I don't think. I'm going Detroit right there. I think Detroit makes some moves. Cade Cunningham was so dominant at only 23 years old. I think you'll get much more out of Jalen Duren by the time next year's playoffs come around. If Jalen Duren gets in the lab this offseason and adds just any type of post move, right? Any type of post move. I mean, a one dribble drop step. Give me something. You know what I mean? I think the Detroit Pistons. No, you know what? Knicks fans are going to love this. I should make a 2027 prediction way too early, 8 months ahead of time. Now, the Detroit Pistons are my pick, I think, for Eastern Conference Finals next season. I know who it's definitely not. It's definitely not the Philadelphia 76ers, who are in absolute purgatory once again. And Sixers fans, any Sixers fans that are in here, I am about to make a video that I will post on Run It Back Philly today talking about a 76ers offseason plan that my friend Jacob Moreno put together, and we'll probably react to the highlights of a player that he feels like they should draft at 22. We are going to do that. We will know about Giannis within the week. If he moves, my guess is Boston. I think I could see this Jaylen Brown to Miami, Giannis to Boston, and the Bucks receiving a plethora of assets from both teams. James Harden will be in prison or jail. Harden is in his late 30s with a kid. Why does he want to be out at 3 a.m. in Houston? Peter Pan, grow up. He will be in prison or in jail. Harden just likes being a celebrity. James Harden's not a criminal. He's not running around doing gang activity. He got pulled over at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he didn't have his weapon in a holster. And again, as a celebrity, if you're rolling around and you don't have a weapon in your car, you're an idiot. I don't think James Harden did anything wrong in that situation. Maybe he shouldn't be out at 3 a.m., but that's the life James Harden likes to live. But I don't think he's actually doing, he's not doing stuff to really get himself in trouble. Has James Harden ever been in trouble since he's been in the NBA? No. Let's talk about this Darren Peterson stuff, man, because of all the teams to f this up, y'all know how the draft is going to go, right? I think, how do you spell Darren Peterson, man? Is there one R or two R's? Two R's. Look, I think everybody kind of knows how the draft is going to go. I thought, if the draft does not go this way, if the draft doesn't go the way I think it's going to go, I will be totally shocked. At least the top three, right? AJ DeBonsta, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer. The only thing that could change that order, I think, is question marks around Darren Peterson's mentality. And if you look at, I think we've been seeing more in recent years that it's not just about physical talent. It's not just about ability. It's not just about tools. Mentality has such a large part to do with winning a championship, right? And the more and more you get players in the NBA that are physical freaks of nature, that are just the 0.1% of athletes in the world, but they get to the NBA, they get paid, and they look like they don't really give a shit that much. The more and more you see that in the NBA, the more and more mentality becomes important when drafting a player. And this is why Daryl Morey picked, VJ Edgecombe over Ace Bailey. I can't think of names today. This is why that's why that happened, right? And when you look at Darren Peterson and Cam Boozer, I think the Cam Boozer wins the mentality side of it. And if you look at who do you think could really lead a team? Who do you think could really lead a team and elevate a team and have a contagious winning mentality? I think you're going Cam Boozer there too. And as far as like a nucleus on a team and being a dominant rebounder, a paint defender, and Cam Boozer is a really good passer for his size. People don't talk about that enough. I think Cam Boozer is a great pick if you want to start a franchise and try to build a championship roster over the next 5 to 10 years. I think Cam Boozer's an amazing pick. So I could see Darren Peterson falling below Cam Boozer. But I don't think I could see him falling. I don't think I could see AJ DeBonsta falling anywhere. I think he's just too rare of an NBA player to not go number one. Like Cooper Flagg level, right? Like last year we were talking Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper. Names, dude. Names. Last year we were talking Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, and we were talking about, a lot of people thought Dylan Harper was good enough to go number one, but there was just no way you were passing up Cooper Flagg. I don't think there's any way anyone's passing up AJ DeBonsta. The only thing I could see change is Cam Boozer and Darren Peterson switch. But this report here is a little bit shocking. Darren Peterson plans to meet only with the Washington Wizards. Guys, this is the same guy that was getting scrutinized for choosing when he wanted to play and when he didn't want to play in a college basketball season. And then absolutely dropped the ball in the NCAA tournament and led his team nowhere. This is the same guy that he shot the ball in a regular season game and looked at the coach and checked himself out. And then they ask him about it, and he's like, I work harder than anybody. Anybody that's questioning my mentality doesn't understand how hard I work. And he had people vouching for him about how hard he works on his game, and I don't question that he doesn't work on his game. The biggest problem with Darren Peterson is that he thinks he's God's gift to the planet. This guy's taking... There's a level between confidence and delusion. So the guy that was in actual live college basketball games and was just checking himself out whenever the hell he wanted to, and was just choosing to play or not to play and blaming it on like a sore ankle or whatever, and there was reports that he's not hurt. He had a chance in between the college season and the NBA draft. He had a chance to change the way people feel about his mentality. Do these kids have mentors? Do these kids have people telling them what to do? Do they have a PR team? So in the time where he has a chance to show NBA teams that he's a team guy, he has a humble mentality, and he's ready to go to whatever team drafts him, and he's ready to do the hard work and contribute to a team and be a team player, he says, I know I'm going number one, and I'm only working out for the Washington Wizards who have the number one pick, and I'm not working out for any other teams? And the funniest part about it is, he's not even going number one. This guy has absolutely lost his mind. He's not even going number one. I don't think there's any way in this existence that the Washington Wizards pick Darren Peterson at number one. I don't think there's any way. Because, yeah, they made the Trae Young trade. They made the Anthony Davis trade. We all know Anthony Davis is going to be hurt in 4 days. He's going to play 3 games, and he's going to break his pinky nail. The Washington Wizards are not in win now mode, and I think that they know that. I don't know if Washington Wizards fans are buying that, like, oh, we have Trae Young and AD now, and we're automatically in win now mode, and all we got to do is add a player that fits perfectly. Because if you were looking at it like that, then I think Darren Peterson would be the perfect fit. But even the Washington Wizards aren't going to fuck this up, right? Because if the Washington Wizards were smart, they would say, we have the potential to be a win now team if Anthony Davis stays healthy. But for the future, you're going AJ DeBonsta. right? You're going AJ DeBonsta, right? For the future, right? And I think Darren Peterson has the potential to be an NBA star also. I think he has the potential to be an Anthony Edwards level of player. But I'm not passing up on AJ DeBonsta at number 1. And I don't think the Washington Wizards are either. And so this guy is a delusional maniac. And in a time period where he had the chance to show everybody that he's not a selfish, delusional idiot, he says, I'm going number 1 and I'm only working out for the Washington Wizards. This is hilarious, man. This is like when Ace Bailey refused to work out for teams, and then everybody said, all right, well, we don't want to deal with that head case. And he went number 6 to the Utah Jazz. Is this about to completely put teams off? Could Darren Peterson fall out of the top 3? Because his mentality is such a question mark. This is interesting, man. Story developing, man. Story developing. Peterson is not better than McCain. That's just a ridiculous thing to say. Come on, brother. I love Jared McCain, but was he at the top of a draft? No, he wasn't. What we got in the chat, man? What do you guys think, man? Give me your takes. Give me your comments, questions, concerns, whatever you want to talk about, man. We'll do Q&A for a couple minutes here, man. Thank you guys for hanging out so much. Thank you for tuning into the first edition of Run It Back NBA off-season. If you just joined right now, we talked New York Knicks fans destroying New York City. We talked about Jalen Brunson a little bit more. We talked about what Wemby needs to do this offseason. We talked about the Giannis trade rumors. We talked about the Celtics trying to trade Jaylen Brown. And we talked about this Darren Peterson stuff. So if you want to hear any of that, go back to the beginning of this stream and listen from the beginning. 242 people in here, only 78 likes. We need 242 likes, man. We need you to hit that like button. If you enjoy this content, hit that like button, subscribe. We're about to hit 10,000 subscribers. Let's see. That was a blessing in disguise. Ace Bailey, being an immature brat, gave us VJ Edgecombe. It's true, but Ace Bailey is also going to be an NBA star. There's no doubt about it. There's absolutely no doubt about it. No doubt about it. You keep saying AJ's name wrong. The T is before the SA. You're saying DeBonsta. It's DeBont. You keep saying AJ's last name wrong. You're saying DeBonsta. It's DeBonsa. Wow. 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 Holy, well, actually, guy. You're saying DeBonsta. It's DeBonsa. You're saying DeBonsta. It's DeBonsa. I understand you're saying that I'm saying it wrong, and I understand that you're technically right, but do you understand how similar those two name pronunciations are? DeBonsta and DeBonsa? What do we call this, man? Splitting hairs? What do you think OKC will do? I don't think OKC should do much, man. I don't think they should do much, man. I think, I definitely think they should do what they can to retain Isaiah Hartenstein, right? I don't think they should do much, man. They just need to be healthy. They just need to be healthy. Is this J-Dub hamstring stuff going to be chronic? You know? Because let's call it what it is, man. They were great. Their depth was amazing. They even looked great without AJ, but you saw once you got deep into the playoffs, especially against the Spurs, when you really needed that number 2, you really needed that star-level second player. They didn't have it. And J-Dub is that. He's amazing. All that OKC needs to do is come back and stay healthy. That's all they need to do. That's all they need to do. That's all they need to do, man. What do you think about Jamal Murray for Jaylen Brown? Yeah, I don't think Jamal Murray's enough of a return for Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics, man. You know what I'm saying? Was Jamal Murray, he was an all-star this year? Was it his first time being voted an all-star? Or was that last year? No, I don't think Jamal Murray's a move the needle type of player. That's not enough of a return for Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown just averaged damn near 30 points a game and was on MVP lists. Like, as much as I clown Jaylen Brown for how goofy he is sometimes, Jaylen Brown led the Boston Celtics to a 60 wins, and they were supposed to be nothing without Jason Tatum. That's how actually good Jaylen Brown is. If they trade Jaylen Brown, they're getting much more of a return than Jamal Murray. I mean, let's call it what it is. Jamal Murray was a great sidekick to Nikola Jokic in that championship run, right? Which, by the way, that window might be over for the Denver Nuggets. And it's really crazy when a team wins a championship. I remember Swipe a Cam, Denver Nuggets content creator. He told me this is the Jokic era. This is the Nikola Jokic era. It's pretty crazy when a team looks so dominant, everybody automatically thinks this team is going to be doing this for the next 10 years. And then they don't even get back there. Like, do the San Antonio Spurs even get back to the NBA Finals next season? Do the Oklahoma City Thunder even get back to the NBA Finals? Like, it seems like the NBA is just changing so rapidly. And there's another reason everybody was mad at Mitch Johnson for not benching De'Aaron Fox and trying to win the damn game. Because you don't know if you're ever going to have this opportunity again. And I know the Spurs, with Wemby being so young and Dylan Harper being great, they have every right to feel like they're going to have this opportunity again. But everything still has to go right for you to end up in the NBA Finals. And so it's just wild. Like, you get there and you don't know if you're ever going to be back there. But no, Jamal Murray was really just a good Jokic sidekick. I don't think Jamal Murray's moving the needle on a Jaylen Brown trade. Where do you think the Jazz and Wizards can place respectfully in their conferences? The Utah Jazz next season. The Utah Jazz next season are interesting, man. Because they were better than they were supposed to be this season, right? And that led them to benching healthy players to continue to try to tank, so that I believe OKC didn't get their pick, which was top 8 protected. And so Lauri Markkanen and they had a lot of good players on that roster that they were sitting out healthy. And then Ace Bailey had that little surge at the end of the year. Ace Bailey had that little surge where, he had back-to-back 30-point games, I believe. I think he had a 40-plus point game in that little run that he had at the end of the season. And so I think Ace Bailey's going to be amazing. And I think if the Utah Jazz come back with everybody healthy and Ace Bailey in year 2, I think they could do some damage next season, man. I think they could do some damage next season. But I think they have to feature Ace Bailey a little bit more than they did his rookie season, I think he's that good. I think they have to feature him a little bit more than they did. But if I had to guess, man, I would say 8 seed for the Utah Jazz next season. Or maybe, I don't know, man. I could maybe see higher than that. I would say 8 seed, just to be safe. I would say 8 seed. What was the other team you said? Wizards? Nah. The Wizards are maybe a play-in team. Trae Young doesn't move the needle for me. Anthony Davis doesn't stay healthy. And they're going to have a rookie on their hands. Like, nah. I'm not seeing the Wizards being like a playoff team this upcoming season. Let's see. Jazz might move JJJ as they take Boozer. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the fact that the Jazz taking Boozer. I think we had the issue. We never got to build the chemistry with J-Dub. We built that with AJ Mitchell. Then they were both out. We could not recover. I see a move made for OKC to move up in the draft. That's possible. They got a plethora of first-round draft picks. I could see a draft day trade. I could definitely see a draft day trade. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in, man. Thank you for hanging out. We're going to do this every day. Well, Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock, right here, talking NBA offseason stuff. All offseason long. Thank you guys for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.